A lot of YouTube reviews tend to be extremely short term, especially when it comes to homage pieces. Reviewers will just pick up the watch, give you their first impressions on the first week of wearing it, and that's kind of it. But I know, as a consumer myself, that I'm extremely interested in the long-term wearing experience of a watch to see how it holds up in the long run. So that's exactly why I'm going to be giving you my 1.5 years owner's review of this Pagani Yacht-Master. First of all, this watch comes in at less than 80 Canadian dollars, and it comes with a sapphire crystal, a stainless steel case that comes in at 48 millimeters in lug to lug, 40 millimeters in diameter, 12 millimeters in thickness, and a strapaholic 20 millimeters in lug width. It also comes with a display case back to see that beautiful NH35 that is powering up this watch. And my NH35 in this watch is one of my most accurate Seiko movements in all of my watch collection because it's running at +3 to +5 seconds per day. This also comes with either a Jubilee styled bracelet or a Oyster styled bracelet. I personally opted for the Jubilee styled bracelet, and I'll get into some of the caveats there. But now let's get on to the bezel. So supposedly the bezel is made out of ceramic. However, I will admit that it doesn't feel like ceramic, and I think it has to do with that sort of sandblasted finish of the bezel. So I don't, unfortunately, have the tools to verify whether the bezel is actually in fact made out of ceramic, and I'm pretty sure I was scouring the internet looking for a reviewer who had the tools to do so, and nobody has verified, at least to my knowledge, whether this bezel is actually made out of ceramic or aluminum. But I will say that the sapphire crystal and the stainless steel case have been tested by other reviewers using diamond testers, for instance, so those claims I would say can be trusted. Now let's get on to the Jubilee bracelet that I purchased it with. As you can tell, I currently don't have it on the watch, and one of the reasons that I took it off is because I found that the Jubilee bracelet was a little bit sharp on the inner edges, and I found that it actually pulled hair. Now, I don't have any arm hair, but when I went to go reach for something or I had my wrist around my head, my hair often got caught in the Jubilee styled bracelet, and it actually pulled my hair a lot. I would definitely recommend either finding a way to file the bracelet down or purchasing it with the rubber strap option, or just transferring it onto a native strap like I did over here. And the reason that this Pagani Yacht-Master is called Pagani and not Pagani is because there is a car company called Pagani, and I believe that Pagani Design isn't allowed to use their name in those countries, so they go under the sub-brand of Pagani. But in terms of the product itself, it's basically the exact same thing, but the only difference is the logo and the name on the dial. I almost forgot to mention, the lume on this watch is actually pretty poor because it only lasts for around 20 minutes and then it goes completely dark. And the reason I forgot to mention the lume is because I just don't find lume all that useful, for me at least, but I know that as a dive watch, not having adequate lume could be a huge deal breaker for some. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it really does help out the channel. And also, I would definitely recommend leaving a comment in the comment section down below, because I'm extremely diligent in responding to almost every one of your comments. If you are interested in purchasing this watch, I'll have an affiliate link in the description down below. That means I will get a small commission, but it doesn't affect your pricing. You'll still pay the same amount that you would with any other link, but it supports the channel. Thank you so much. The wearing experience is extremely similar to wearing a Rolex Submariner. Now, obviously, these two watches aren't directly comparable. One is in fact 100 times more expensive than this Pagani Yacht-Master. But when I actually showed this watch to my uncle, who has a Rolex Submariner, I tried on his Submariner, he tried on this watch, and he was shocked as to how similar this wore to his Submariner. And I can say that the two watches wear very closely. Obviously, one is more premium than the other. It's pretty noticeable, but is it 100 times noticeable? Not really. This watch was my first sort of real gateway drug into automatic watches, because if you've watched any of my State of the Collection videos, you'll know that my first automatic watch wasn't functioning, and this is the first fully functioning automatic watch. So I was extremely wary with it, and I was afraid of damaging it. I had heard so much about automatic watches and how fragile they were. When I was using it, I left it on the ledge of a table and it fell, and it actually created a dent on the corner of this case, but it dropped on a cement floor. The drop was about 1.5 meters. So I was rightly concerned, and it actually held up. I mean, the accuracy of this watch is still at +3 to +5 seconds, and that drop happened almost a year ago. So I can honestly say that this watch is extremely durable, and I not only have that experience to back it up, but also I've gone tubing with this watch, I've driven boats with this watch, it's been submerged underwater and experienced some shocks to the watch itself. When I was tubing, I was basically flying in the air, and if you've ever gone tubing, you'll know how much shock it induces to a watch. So I can honestly say that this watch has held up against the test of time. And also, if you've been following my Instagram, you'll know that I brought this up to Machu Picchu. Now, I will say, bringing this to Machu Picchu didn't really test the watch's capabilities as much as I hoped it would, but I will say that it can handle extreme climates, it can handle being submerged underwater, obviously. It was just pretty cool to bring this watch up and have it on my wrist and basically by my side when I was doing all of these athletic activities. I also brought this treetop trekking and zip lining. I also brought this skiing. So I think the weather, it was about -15 or so. So it took me a while to not baby my watches, because before I joined the watch hobby, I was heavily invested in consumer technology hobby, such as phones, laptops, earbuds, and with those sorts of products, you really don't want to be testing them in extreme sports. It's kind of not encouraged, whereas with watches, you are encouraged to go out and do some extreme stuff with this on your wrist. But honestly, one of the watches that pushed me to be more, I would say, carefree with my watches is this watch. It really inspired confidence in me that these Seiko movements and even affordable watches, such as this Pagani, could handle those extreme sports. This watch is not only important to me as it was my first functioning automatic watch, but also because this is my tool watch. Even though I am not climbing Mount Everest, even though I'm not swimming in the depths of the undiscovered oceans, I would say that most people in this watch hobby aren't doing that either. So I think even though I'm not an extreme athlete, I'd say for most people, this can handle their extreme sports. I guess the ultimate question is whether you should buy this. Now, I would say that in this watch hobby, $80 is on the more affordable side of things. And I think for $80 in the context of this watch hobby is an amazing deal for what you're getting. And as I've mentioned in my other videos, you are not buying this watch for historical significance. You're not buying this because you feel a close bond with the Pagani brand. Most people aren't going to be fawning over the finishing and the intricacies of this watch. I mean, it's amazing what they can do with $80. This isn't a luxury watch, essentially. Even though I wouldn't call this a true tool watch, because I would say the only real true tool watch is a Casio G-Shock. But I would say in terms of automatic watches that are in the more affordable sector, this is the true tool watch. And I can personally attest to all of that, and I have full confidence in saying that. So should you buy this? If you're looking for a affordable, almost beater watch that's an automatic watch, I would say this is definitely something you should at least consider. With all that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your viewership, and I hope that this watch channel, Patina's Like Your Favorite Watch, I'll see you on another episode on the Time Ticker.